Do something. Yes, do something different. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Casting a circle of light, specifying that only Source, Creator God, my healing team, and support teams as needed be present for today's healing circle, healing with the teaching of the guides, where we are going to be looking at the book Divine Union, and actually day 3 in Divine Union, and seeing all the places where there are healing opportunities as we read these books that are Melchizedek channeled by Paul Selig. So Divine Union Day 3 is where we are going to be looking. So lovely, lovely, lovely. So may it be with the blessing, blessing, blessing of Source that we continue to know that everything we do is divinely perfect, divinely timed, and exactly what we need for our growth and evolution, for the healings and teachings that our higher selves want us to get in this lifetime. Yes. And with that, we say amen and aho. And let's take a look at this healing opportunity. It is, let's see, it's the Tuesday before the new moon, and the new moon is the moon of victorious intuition. And that victorious intuition has a new frequency coming onto the planet. The new frequency is victory, and victory is a purple, blue, silver, gold frequency. And like most of the frequencies that have been coming onto the planet in the last year or so, it heals everything. It heals, closes openings and works on fear, pain, anger, unworthiness, shame, blame. You name it, it works on it. And it works on those really dense frequencies that we have. Everything from dark designs to dark holograms, it can work on those things. So, even though we might have a little bit of tripping up over what is going on how intense the energies are, or what is being transformed in our bodies, we can take the opportunity to just remind ourselves, like, oh yeah, this is a good thing. This is a fabulous thing. This is what is next. And there is nothing here that is being shown to me that I want to keep. So we just have to keep reminding ourselves of that. Last night after the healing circle, I had a whole bunch of different pings of pain showing up, and I was like, what the heck, man? What is all this? And then I was like, oh yeah, another opportunity to remind myself that there's nothing here I want to keep. So let's look at the text. The very first paragraph of the text, we have Source energy, we have union, and we have the frequency of restoration, all really high frequencies. And they're going to be, my healing team and I are going to be working with those frequencies to move more of the places where we forget that we are in union with Source, where we go into fear about what that means to be in union with Source, or we think we're not enough to be in union with Source. If you have something in particular that shows up for you that you're like, oh man, when you said, I don't think I'm enough, I can relate to that, feel free to add it to the chat, because There is never anything that happens in a healing circle or in a class that is not designed for everybody. There's always a healing opportunity for everyone. So if something shows up for you, feel free to pop it into the chat. I just realized that I'm probably going to make them worse, but my glasses are like really dirty. I might have gotten caught in the rain. So for those of you who remember me before I wore glasses, there we go. Okay, let's pretend these work. Okay, look at that. Crystal clear clarity. If anybody wears glasses, feel free to put it in the chat. Put some new designs in your glasses, because that's always really awesome. Yes. All right. So while we are busy working on those places where we have some bias, some judgment, some fear about being one with Source, we're going to move on. Becky, your glasses, awesome. Happy to put some new designs in your glasses. They're really fascinating. Ah, look at that. Kate, your daughter and you both wear glasses. Yeah, those eye appointments. Yeah, let me know if you get new glasses. I've probably had, I don't know, 4 or 5 pairs of glasses. I actually have several pairs of glasses that I wear. These are the ones that you'll see me in most, but I have the ones I wear at night and the red ones, and I have the blue ones. And so, yeah, I design all over those bad boys. So, and Jill, for the readers, happy to put more designs. Healing team, you all get on that. More designs. Fill them up. And remember, everything in your life can have more healing on it. If you do not have the information to be able to design for yourself, you just ask Source, ask any of Melchizedek to just put designs over your pillows and to, I want to say, juice up your water. You just keep asking for it, because there is no judgment about that. There's no worries whatsoever. You can text me. I'm happy to help you out with that. So, yes. So this chapter in Divine Union is actually called Agreement, and I love that they talk about the word agreement over and over again here. And, they use the word agreement to mean energetic accord. We have lots and lots of agreements. We have healing agreements with other people. We have karmic agreements with other people. And it's really just a way of us going, hey, I'm here to help you. Hey, I'm here to support you. You're going to help me in this lifetime. There is an agreement for us to work together. And obviously, for all of us here, we have agreements to work together. Otherwise, you wouldn't show up. So I do love that we have a lot of conversations about that in this book. And in the process of the healing circle today, we're busy clearing as much karma and agreements between you and your closest family, your extended family, also between all of us, because that is another reason why we are working together. We're going to keep clearing that as we go through the healing circle. That's always really helpful. So, and it's, we're reminded somewhere in the book, let's see, I will find the actual page. Now, while the system was useful, down at the bottom of page 46, as far as the karma and agreements. It's a useful process that we are going through. We have agreed to everything, and they say it again, high, low, and in between. And we have made a lot of agreements. There are a lot of support. That's a lot of opportunities for us to see things from a different place, to have experiences, to heal things. I often say, karma is an experience, and it is a healing and a teaching opportunity. So, anything that happens to us, if you are on your way to work and you have a fender bender, it is a karmic experience. It is an experience that you're having. And the reason why you're having it, your higher self put it in front of you for the teachings. Maybe it's just not to get angry and not to go into lack and not to go into fear. But it's also for all of the healings and the clearing of karma that you are having with the other person who drove, or the police officer who showed up, or whatever else. If you went into the doctor's office, if you had to discuss things with the insurance company, all of those experiences are kind of all rolled in to that one event that happened to you. So it's a reminder to us that, nothing happens by chance. Everything happens as it's meant to. So we just keep going. Oh yeah, that's right. Nothing crazy here. So where have you been triggered by an experience in the last couple of days? Now, when I ask you, where have you been triggered by an experience, what you would do is ask in yourself, right? Where is it in me that the experience that I have had in the last couple of days is showing up in my body? Now, I could have been in a car accident over the weekend, and I banged my knee and it really hurts, and that was the problem that I had, other than the shake up with the fender bender. But when I ask the question, where is it in me that I'm really triggered by that event that happened, that experience that happened, I get here in my sternum. Now, I didn't have a fender bender this weekend, but I'm asking the question, where is it in me? And it's like showing right up here in my sternum. So I'm going to work on that. And Kate says throat and sternum. And that is fabulous. Great awareness. And, there's a process of learning to trust your information. We aren't always given a lot of time to practice that. I went to school eons ago, and no one that I remember ever said, hey, let's practice checking in with your information. Somewhere along the way, I learned it from a certain perspective, but then I got to relearn it over and over again. So, big healings for all of us. All right. So one of the things we didn't talk about last night in the healing circle that I thought was really helpful to get out of this reading is this piece about sin. It says, now the idea of sin as a symbol or a symbolic idea has been addressed in prior texts, and it certainly has. Bottom of page 48. But it is worth repeating now. The divine self, or the monad, come as you, is actually without sin. Your monad is actually the whole of all of your soul parts. So you actually don't have just one soul, you actually have many souls that make up your monad or your divine self. And that is what is without sin. The realization of the Jesus self as the one being without sin quite simply meant that the one who came as Jesus was the divine self who moved into articulation. So Jesus came during the time period that we energetically call the first wave. Jesus came to be here on the planet. He was actually the lead on healing the planet. And what they are saying is that Jesus was the divine self who moved into articulation. So when Jesus came, Jesus was unenlightened. And then I believe it's somewhere in his teen years, 13, 14 years old, Jesus became enlightened, which is the term that they use, moved into articulation. That's why they say the divine self moved into articulation. You are all as this when you release the idea of self that accrues karma, claims things in fear, sullies the lens of her camera or perception, if you wish, you begin to understand that who you truly are is without that idea. So, part of the process of becoming enlightened or moving into articulation is clearing karma, healing those things that you have claimed in fear, and cleaning the lens of your camera or your perception, all those places where you are have gone into shame, or you think that you are separate, or that you're not enough exactly as you are. And as you do those things, then you become in an articulated state. Because the act of sin, the belief that sin is an act that you can be punished for, has become so predominant, you construe fear and you act in sin without knowing. The translation of that for me is that there are a lot of control energies here on the planet that tell us you're bad, you're sinful, you were born with lots of sin, there's no hope for you. Like, there's just a lot of stuff like that. I actually saw this morning on Facebook. God, I wish I could remember who posted it. I think a friend of mine sent it to me, but it was kind of funny because it was for all of you who had sex before marriage, but now think that, what was it? But now think that it's really bad that people have sex outside of marriage. I'm like, yes, all that nonsense that says this is the rule, this is how you're supposed to behave, this is what you're supposed to do, and it's based in fear. And so there's a big healing opportunity for us in this, where we have a lot of ideas about fear, and that if we're not following exactly what was taught to us, then we're in trouble. So healings for that. Feel free to ask where you are holding the most amount of fear that you are a sinner or that you have sinned. Where is that in your body? I have it in my third eye, and I have it in my throat. Oh, and behind my my left quad and hamstring. My left quad and hamstring. So, where are you holding those ideas that you are holding a lot of sin? Becky, I get it. I'm actually working on the technology for you to move more of that. How I would call that is a lot of beings behaving badly, and we'll work on that. Doesn't bother me. I know it's just an energetic piece. BG, where is it in you? You have a lot in your throat and in your sternum. BG, that's where it shows up for me. And Kate says throat, eye, sacrum, and womb. Yeah, that whole area, kind of that whole pelvic region, Kate, is lighting up for you. They tell us when we act in fear, we're actually acting in the denial of the divine, and we accrue the evidence in our energetic bodies. I get so excited about this stuff, man, because it's like, there it is. There is the piece about the energy, right? That you act in fear, and it's really about the denial of the divine, and that stuff builds up in our bodies, in our energetic bodies, in our physical bodies. It builds up in all of that, and so it then manifests itself as disease and illness. So, yeah. And they say that is what's being moved through the escalation of the vibration to the upper room. The mandate of the new. I am in union. I am in union, which we will discuss later today, that's what it says, is actually always true. The true self you see is always in union. You have always been in union. Always, always, always been in union. Wrap your head around that for just a moment. You have always been in union. You've never done anything wrong. Doesn't matter what you want to, present as, but you don't understand, Bonnie. I did this, or this is what happened to me, or when I was 10, all of that. Nope. The truth is you have always been in union, and all of the things that have happened to you have happened to you as an experience for your growth and evolution. They actually say, you could suggest that the personality self, because it's a creation, is also in union, but it cannot experience itself at that level because it holds the bias of separation. We have all these ideas that we're separate. I swear my mind has been blown so many times over the last few weeks because I keep seeing all these ways that we are infinitely connected, like the war that is happening with Israel, the U.S., and Iran, and it is happening. We would say it's happening over there, but here in the United States, there are a lot of Jewish organizations that are experiencing a lot of judgment and fear, and they are, concerned that they're going to be terrorized in some way, and it's because we're all connected. We're all connected. You can't do something on the other side of the world, regardless of what it is, and not experience it here. We might not be aware of it, and I'm sure a lot of you would be like, yeah, but that's a war. Yes, it's just a great example for us that there are tons of things that happen. When the tariffs kicked in, Everybody has felt it all over the world. It is not just this group or that group or these people over here or those people in business. It is the concept of a butterfly flaps its wings in Minnesota, and it is felt in Australia. We are all connected. And the more we start to see that, the more we can transform those ideas that were separate. It's really cool. It's really fabulous. So they say, now, if you understand that sin is simply the denial of the divine, you will understand the process that you are undergoing through these teachings. The realization of the monad in the shadows of the self, the light that would shine through you, eradicating darkness or lifting darkness in a restorative state to the light it is and can only be. It's not only a process, it's a way of re-engaging with one's true nature. So not only is starting to connect with your higher self a process of realizing that we're all connected, but it's also a way for you to start the conversation with your higher self. If you haven't done a lot of that lately, you might want to start journaling. You might be like, okay, I'm going to sit down and, write for 2 or 3 minutes a day. And just let your writing, let your higher self be your guide. Just start writing and see what shows up. I used to do that. It's been a while now since I've done that, but I used to do that kind of writing, and it was amazing the things that would show up, the awareness that would drop in as I was sitting and writing. So that's part of what we're doing here, and they're talking about that, about re-engaging one's true nature, re-engaging. Oh, I'm a higher self. Oh, there's something more to know about me. As you build that relationship, you start to go, oh man, I'm really amazing. And not from a place of I'm all that, but just a place of truth. You're really, really amazing. So they do say, some of you would say to us, this feels impossible. It is impossible to the small self who cannot undertake this. It is crucial to understand that it is the monad that does the work. The God within you rearticulates you or resurrects itself through the ideas you have held that have been inherited in the dense field. Said another way, your higher self, who has always been you, who is absolutely you, is helping you feel worthy, helping you understand who you have always been outside of the dense field we live in. We live in a really dense planet. Y'all know that, right? There's lots of fear and pain and anger and unworthiness. I do love the analogy that they used here. Sometimes I just like to understand what's going on around me. So I do love the analogy that they use about when you walk into a room and everybody is speaking one language, and you assume that that's the language that you're going to be speaking, and so you learn to speak that one language. And they say in the book, that is in some ways what happens when you incarnate on this plane. Everybody is afraid. Everybody is acting in fear. Everybody is choosing things in competition with the ones beside them. This is the language I see, and I learn to speak that language. To be restored to the basis of your being, which is the articulation of the divine, come in individuated ways, and then responsible for its expression at a higher level of tone, simply means you know who you are, but beyond the old conversation, the old rubric, or the old system. You're born on a planet where fear is so present. And so you learn to speak fear, and you learn to see through the eyes of fear. And then along comes this transformation that you go, wow, you mean I don't have to be stuck with this? I can know that I am magical and talented and powerful all on my own. And so you start doing the things to transform those old rubrics, the old system. So where are you holding some old pictures, frames, movies, whatever that is? Where are you holding those things in your body now? You just ask the question, where am I holding some pictures or some movies? Mine is in my throat. It's also in my sacrum. It's also in my left hamstring. We have a lot of them. A lot. We're going to move more of those, work on more of those. Kate says, third eye and physical eyes. It's a great spot. Yeah. We just keep moving the things that say that we aren't enough, that unworthiness, that we have to compete, the lack. Let's move more of those things. When one sings, one gives permission for all to sing. If you didn't know you could walk on your hands, you wouldn't do it. And when one man walks on his hands, suddenly the whole community does. Again, that room you walk into where everybody speaks a foreign language. You think that's what you should do. The same will be true when the song that is being sung by the one is sung by all. As I was reading this the first or second time, I was hearing that song. I don't even know that I know the title of it at the moment, but it's sing a song. Sing out loud, sing out strong. Don't worry if it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing a song. And it's definitely one of those songs that people pick up and start singing along with you. If you got an earworm for that, you're welcome. They say they use the analogy of music for a reason. We understand it. We have emotional ties to it. It makes sense to us. We understand that music has power. It says even before the lyrics to a song are present, the tones themselves move you in one way or another. When you understand the escalation of vibration that you are claiming through prior attunements and the attunements to come here, you will understand that the body you hold and the energetic bodies are being retuned, sung in a high way, the body itself being moved to hold the high note. And the song itself is being sung of all things. So, where are you holding some judgment that you can't sing the song? Perhaps you're somebody who says, I can't carry a tune. Perhaps you say that I would just sound terrible. just got a lot of judgment about that. Perhaps you say something else, but where is that in you? Whether it is judgment or fear, it all comes back to fear. So where is that in you? I have some in my throat, some in my brainstem, and in my third eye. We're working on all of that. All right, Joanna, happy to help you with that. Yeah. What I've discovered is the more I keep moving out the fear and the unworthiness, just how it shows up. Not like, I have to spend 5 hours a day working on it, but just as it shows up, the more that I let those things move out, the more my voice sounds less cranky. The more I feel like, oh, it doesn't matter how I sing. It doesn't matter how I sound. It matters that I sing. It matters that you sing. Mm-hmm. All right. Gifts of revelation. Gifts of reclamation. Gifts of victory. Mm-hmm. So I see orbs of recreation, reclamation, resurrection coming in. It's a bouquet of Re's, R-E's. Always fascinates me how many of the frequencies start with R-E. Literally. Restoration, resurrection, revelation, reclamation. I'm like, recreation. It's a lot of them. So when I'm trying to think of a frequency, I'm like, what is that frequency? What is that frequency? I often get RE and I go, that's so not helpful. Yeah, Joanna, we're giving you lots and lots of support for your nervous system. The moon tomorrow is going to be amazing. Yeah, I was watching before I got on today, an astrologer talk about it, and they're talking about what an amazing moon it's going to be. It's not going to be that, oh my God, it's so intense, and it's going to be a really big healing moon. And let's move more ideas where we're like, it's going to wipe us out. That we somehow think, I see a lot of you showing me these movies of tsunamis and big hurricanes that are just going to, level us tomorrow. And so let's move as many of those as we can. Great thing to do, because it's just, we're so supported in the process. So that tiredness, that exhaustion, a lot of it is just fear across the board. For fear makes us really tired, and we want to give ourselves the break, the opportunity to recover. So you just go, let me have more healing, let me have more support. Okay, absolutely happy to help you with your eyes. I know that's a big thing for you. So yeah, absolutely being supported. Okay, we're going to take a few moments, move some more veils and valences. Remember, those veils are like coverings over our heads, over different parts of our bodies. They're not the truth of us. The valences, sometimes we put valences on, as a form of protection, but they're not serving us anymore. We also have a lot of masks, and we're going to move as many of those as we can before the new moon tomorrow. And these are just, a lot of them are protections, but a lot of them are, have been put in place for us to think that that is the truth of us. And it's not that either. Like sometimes you might look in a mirror and be like, oh my God, look at how old I look. What in the world is that? And it's like, oh, those are some masks and some valences that have been put in there to make me think that I'm just not powerful enough. At my age, I am not powerful enough. And I go, because that's the truth. So we're working on those. All right. I'm going to read here from the book. Let's see, it's actually Recreation and Manifestation. The bottom of page 50, if you want to know. Now, recreation, or the manifestation of the divine in form, is nothing new. Everything is God. You are just used to the museum that you have been existing in. I love that analogy. It is the truth. When something is made new, in most ways, it is simply unveiled in its resplendency. Imagine a statue, a marble statue, buried at the bottom of the sea. It is covered with barnacles, hidden by seaweed, buried under rock and water. When the statue is exhumed, it can be revealed. When the barnacles are removed, when it is left to sit in the sun and claim its luster that has been there but has been denied, you can understand the act you are engaging in and what is occurring in this act of re-knowing all through the divine self. Now, I think this is the most amazing metaphor or analogy for what we are up to, what we are doing. We are these statues, and we have been buried underneath loads and loads of low frequencies: pain, fear, anger, unworthiness, unconsciousness, atheist, shame, blame, guilt, all of those things. We have been buried underneath there. And as a consequence of that, we have been covered in barnacles, hidden by seaweed, buried under the rocks and the water. And what is actually happening to us now is we are being lifted up out of the water. And I just love that. I mean, I see like the big, thick chains that are wrapped around us and supporting us as we are being lifted up out of the water. And as we are being lifted, we are being cleaned of all of that stuff. And some of us are like, but I don't know who I am without my barnacles. I don't know what I would do without all the seaweed that feeds the fish. I don't know how to be anything other than something that has been sitting at the bottom of the sea. And that's what we are transforming. We're moving all those old ideas that this is all we can ever be, because it is not the truth of us. We have been this for a while, but we haven't always been covered in the muck and mud. That is not the truth of us. So what we're doing is pulling us up out of the water, scrubbing ourselves off with lots of high frequencies, and then we are being left to sit in the sun, left to sit in the light and transform all those ideas that we don't deserve to sit in the light, that we aren't enough to be there. I love, love, love that example. We are re-knowing ourselves as these magical, beautiful, powerful beings that sit in the sun and just shine, shine, shine. Then they continue. Now, all through the divine self is important to understand. You are not recreating this, nor are you deciding what should be. You are actually seeing what has always been, that the dirty lens has obscured. You are actually experiencing what you have always known in a remembered state, and knowing that it can only be. And everything beyond that was just an idea. The choice to do this, made at a soul level, requires the agreement of the personality structure. Your soul was like, oh, we're doing this. Your personality is like, we're doing it, we're not doing it, we're doing it, we're not doing it. So we're giving you a healing on those places where you are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? This is where will is handy. Am I willing to go on the adventure? Indeed I am. Am I willing to know anew? Indeed I am. I agree to this journey. I agree to this benefit. I agree to this act of choice. Just agree. I agree, I agree, I agree. Now, when choice is made, all things come present to support the choice. You know, the moment you say yes, everything comes together to make that happen. It has been the case with everything you've ever said yes to. If you've said yes to be married, if you've said yes to have a child, if you have said yes to have a job, if you have said yes to take a course, whatever you have said yes to, the universe conspires to make everything come together for it to happen. We don't always think like that. We don't always, notice that everything's coming together for you to be where you need to be when you said yes. But that's what's happening. When you say yes, you actually reclaim the ability to enact the choice that has always been yours, but has been denied. Not denied by intention, but denied by a belief that it could not be so. Not for anyone. Oh, that's not real. No one can do that. Nothing is ever going to change. This is not a teaching only for the anointed. While we give you language that may appeal to some, the song that is sung through your resonant field will indeed be heard by all. If you listen, you can hear the song being sung. And as the song is heard, their energetic bodies go into recollection or remembrance and agreement to their own potential. Nothing can be claimed until it's first a possibility. It is a law, man. Nothing can be claimed until at least it's a possibility. The potential is being offered here. You have said yes, so we would like to escort you now on a very small journey. I'd like to go ahead and do this again. I did it last night. I thought it was fabulous. Imagine for a moment that you sit alone in a room. There are 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor. Everything that exists outside those walls and ceiling and floor are simply possibilities. What you contain in your room or your reality is what you say can be there. The view out the window, the feeling of the floorboards, the height of the ceiling. Take a moment to consider that. What is the view out the window? How do the floorboards feel? How tall is the ceiling? And if you feel like you're really cramped, push the ceiling up a little more. Expand the size of the window. There's no rules here. If you did this with me last night, make it even more today. You are limited by the structure that you inhabit. Now, the structure that you inhabit is not only physical, it is mental. And it is physical only in vibration, because everything that is known in physical form is merely vibration in a solidified state. The realization that you are no longer contained by the structure you have known is what we wish to take you through now. On this day, I allow myself to be known without the limited structures that have codified my experience. On this day, I allow the expansion of my being to overwhelm the structures that I have erected and move me beyond the limited sense of self and expansion that I have known thus far. And as I say yes to this, I give permission to the walls that were erected with my agreement to be moved to a new agreement. I am one with the source of all things. I am one with the source of all things. I am one with the source of all things. And you allow the walls and the ceiling and the floor to evaporate, to be restored to the ethers or the energy that first created them. A wall is a thought. A floor is a thought. A room is a thought that has been concretized through collective agreement. Now, the expansion of the energetic bodies is actually not limited by you. When you allow the divine self or the light that you truly are to fill in that room and what exists beyond that room, you can begin to have an experience of the vastness of being. And understand that everything your field touches, which is all that can be imagined, is actually restored or moved to reunion through your claim. Imagine that you are a light in a darkened room, and your light fills the darkened room, and then moves the darkened room to a vast field. And in this vast field, this light is unhindered, and it escalates, and everything it touches is singing to. It is aligning with and reclaiming as of itself. Because God is all things, God claiming itself through you in a reclamated state reclaims all things that it encounters. It is God claiming itself. It is not you making something holy. It is what all is already holy being reknown in its truthful state. You are being reknown in your truthful state. You have always been the light. You have never been contained by a structure in reality other than what you have allowed your brain to tell you. We're wrapping everybody with more expansion frequency, with more expression frequency, and realigning everyone to the source of all things. Now, does that mean, boom, you're done? You're finished? All right, I'm right where I need to be. Well, yes, and there will be times when you go unconscious to all of that. That'll happen because we live here on planet Earth and it's okay. You go, okay, that's what happens. And then I'm going to remind myself again. And then I'm going to attend something else. And then I'm going to remember that I am so much more than what I remember. Joanne, I'm happy to help you with that neck and shoulders. There's a lot of heavy things that you're like carrying. So we're going to move more backpacks, more mule packs, any of those things that say, I have to carry all this. This is a requirement. And as we transform those backpacks, we're going to give a gift of healing. So this gift is a, give me some language here. This gift that everybody is receiving now is a, okay, thank you. This is how I was seeing it. I could see the backpacks being moved off of everybody, and then what I could see was this almost like a blanket being wrapped up. And it was like in a package, and that's all I could see. And I'm like, okay, but what exactly is that? So my higher self took off the wrapping, so to speak, and I see that it is a tapestry for each of us. There is a tapestry where all these frequencies have been woven into the tapestry. So there is that restoration and that resurrection and that reclamation and the union frequency and the victory frequency that is coming in with a new moon. And there's blessings going into it, and it's just a tapestry. Yours will look different from everybody else's. You can ask what yours looks like, maybe ask what colors you see. I see a lot of them with those pinks. There's rose pink quartz, the love frequency. Some of them have the yellows. There's a lot of blues and golds and purples and silvers in there, and it's just each one of them is designed for you, for what your higher self is looking to heal. And so some of you are putting them in your sternums, some of you are like wrapping them around your throat. Keep in mind that they're energy, so energy can be moved and manipulated. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, but they are all being gifted to you. And these gifts is just a reminder. These are like forever gifts. These aren't gifts that are like, oh yeah, you get to keep it until the next healing circle, or oh, well, this gift is going to be great for the next 2 weeks and then it's just going to sit in your body. No. These are gifts that are going to continue to gift you forever and ever, right? And you'll get additional gifts that'll be layered on top of them, and then they keep transforming even more. So it is totally fabulous. Awesome gifts. The tapestry. So as those are being installed, I want to let you know that the next time we get together for the Healing Circle is going to be March 30th and March 31st. And we're going to be in the Book of Innocence. The Book of Innocence, I want to say it's like book 10. Do I actually know? There's so many books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's book 11. I was close. The Book of Innocence. We're going to be doing day 8. It is page 102 and 10 through 109. And I will be posting that on Facebook. I'll be posting it on the WhatsApp. If one of them works better for you, feel free to be wherever it works best for you. But that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing day 8 in the Book of Innocence. Next, I do want to let you guys know that I've had a number of people say they really want to read the whole book, Divine Union. That's where today's piece came out of. And so I'm looking to put together a group of people, and when we can meet, we might actually do it on Mondays and Tuesdays, or maybe just make them Tuesdays. We'll see how that shows up. But if you're interested in being part of the book club, please let me know. So happy to include you. All right. So let's see. Tomorrow is the new moon. So happy new moon. Lots of new moon healing opportunities for all of us. If you need support, feel free to send me a message. Friday is the spring equinox, and so that is a power day as well, and an opportunity for a lot more healings. If you find your butt dragging where you're just like, I just need some support, please feel free to text me. It is fabulous. You can put a message in Facebook or in WhatsApp as well. Happy to support you on your journey up in frequency. So with that, I'm going to seal the field unto the light of the one true source creator God, the one who is all the love, all the magic, all the victory, and just a consistent reminder for us all that we are so loved, supported, and protected through this crazy process we are going through of going up in frequency. I thank Source, my healing team, the support teams, as they came in and helped. And I thank each and every one of you who say, yes, I want to be pulled up out of the muck and mud. And yes, I want to be the light that I can be, and I want to transform everything around me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love and bless you guys. Remember, if there's anything you need, let me know. Hope you have a great week. Take care.